Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie vlog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we've got a little bit of production news for Matt Reeves' The Batman, and it seems to be pretty good news because it looks like the delays that have hit the production of The Batman are not going to be nearly as drastic, at least at this point. Obviously, there's a lot of things still in motion. There's a lot of things that could change, but at this point, things are actually looking okay for The Batman to still be coming out in 2021, only now it'll be coming out in the fall of 2021 rather than the summer. So only being pushed back a few months, which is better than a lot of other productions that have been pushed back upwards of 6 to 12 months in certain situations. And of course, with this film being very early on in production, it's just good news to hear that they are still very much planning to go ahead with this project. I know there's a lot of people out there that are very excited for The Batman. I think that it has a lot of things going for it. Are there some controversy surrounding it, especially the casting for certain characters, especially for Jim Gordon? Obviously, yes, I think that there's definitely some concerns out there, but for me, all I'm seeing so far are the releases of the Batmobile, which looks pretty badass, the release of what the early test screenings of, or rather the test footage that we have so far of having actually Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit. That actually looks pretty good as well. And so because of all of those things, I, at this point, am still looking forward to the film, though, of course, I understand why there might be some people that are a little bit more hesitant. But let's dive into this article given to us once again by Deadline.com. So with many productions currently halted due to everything going on with CV and the 2021 release schedule being greatly in need of product, Warner Brothers has shifted a slew of theatrical releases. Matt Reeves' The Batman, which is currently stalled in London, will no longer open on June 25th next summer, but in the first weekend of October next year, October 1st, a slot made famous by DC's R-rated The Joker. Reeves told us recently that once it's safe to resume production, the plan is to finish The Batman in London instead of relocating. A quarter of the film is shot, and Reeves is currently sifting through footage. Batman moves on to a date where both Paramount and 20th Century Studios have untitled movies. So there we have some information about The Batman, and it is, of course, that it's been only moved a few months, so moving from June to October. And as it says in the article, this is a weekend, or at least very close to the weekend, that Joker originally had its release. And we all know that Joker became a billion-dollar juggernaut. So I'm sure that Warner Brothers is looking at this and saying, hey, this could also potentially be a very profitable film as well, especially since it seems to be following, based on the images we have so far, a more dark and gritty tone that would be similar to the Joker. Though, of course, what has been told to us by DC and what has been told to us by Warner Brothers is that these films are not going to be connected, though, of course, that could easily be them trying to throw us off. We could easily see a connection between those two films. There's some people that want that connection. There's some people that don't want that connection. Either way, as long as we get a good movie, a good Batman movie, and Robert Pattinson's able to pull off the role, and I think, you know, if looking at the roles that he's played, especially if you look to his performance in The Lighthouse, we know that he has acting chops. I have some pretty high hopes for the character, but I will, of course, reserve judgment before, until we actually get a legit trailer, and of course, when we actually get the film release itself with some more information. We also have some bigger news about a couple other, one other major film that I really want to talk about, and that is DC's The Flash, which will go a month earlier in 2022, debuting on June 3rd, a date that Warner's already reserved instead of July 1st that year. And so that is a smaller change, so it's moving up a month in 2022, likely because they have not actually started production on The Flash quite yet. I think there's still a lot of question marks as to, is Ezra Miller still going to be the Flash, especially with video of him coming out recently, basically accosting a fan of sorts in this weird video of basically throwing her to the ground. There's still a lot of question marks next to that video about what actually happened and what led to it and what happened after. All we can tell, though, is that they still absolutely plan to go ahead with a Flash movie. Everything that's being told by us so far is that they plan to go ahead with the Flashpoint storyline, which is likely going to reset a lot of things in the DCEU, and it's going to allow them to recast certain characters, reboot certain characters, and also just be able to put themselves in a better position. What my hope is, though, is obviously anytime you deal with something with time travel, which is what Flashpoint essentially does, time travel, multiverse stuff, it can become complicated. And I hope they don't endgame it and just make a completely convoluted story that makes no absolute damn sense. And also that they have at least a sensible villain in it and not someone like freaking Steppenwolf like in Justice League. But anyway, those are the two major movies. So Flash moving up a little bit. Again, has not started really production on that film yet. So my guess is that just means they plan to start production earlier on it. But we'll see if we're going to actually have Ezra Miller back as that role. And the Batman has now been pushed back officially a few months, but luckily only a few months. And to be honest, I think it's coming out at a better time of the year, because when you have those dark and gritty films like what Joker was coming out in October, to me just seems like a more sensible release date than the summer. Now, of course, I understand the summer box office money can be gold sometimes, but as Joker proved, going out in October, being R-rated, not getting a China release, etc., even with those things going on, you're still able to make $1 billion if you have a good product in front of you. So I'm hoping we get a great product from Matt Reeves, and I'm hoping that the Batman is successful if it is indeed a good product. But what are your thoughts about that? Are you excited for the Batman? Are you sad to see it being pushed back a little bit further? Again, luckily not too much, not the 6 to 12 months we've seen from other productions. And also, what are your thoughts about The Flash being moved up just a little bit? Do you think that the production is going to start relatively soon, so that way they can get it released in time for 2022 earlier now? And also, do you think Ezra Miller is still going to be attached to that product, or they're going to try and recast him because of recent events? It'll be interesting to see how they play their hand. Let me know your thoughts about both of these things and anything else that we talked about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps us out a lot. The algorithm on YouTube is crazy right now, so if you could like and share this video most especially, and hit that notification bell, that way you get notified anytime a new video goes live and anytime I go live on the channel to talk about movies, pop culture, and many other things. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to my April Patreon and Subscribe Star members. We have animation commentator Brian P, Dion, Divex, Elizabeth M, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunker Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And to my Subscribe Star members, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Dark Star 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadon G. Adams, and ZK Man. And out of step with reality, and Albertus Magnus and JJB Net. I'm going to go ahead and leave that blank spot just previously in case any more people decide to become a Patreon or Subscribe Star member over the next few days. Just remember that as soon as you sign up, you are immediately eligible for any of the benefits. If you just sign up at the $1 tier on Subscribe Star or Patreon, you get a shout out at the end of every single video, including my live streams. If you're a $5 or up backer on either platform, you get access to exclusive giveaways where I give away several 4K Blu-rays, digital copies every single month as well. If you jump up to the $10 tier on either platform, you get access to all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with my friend John the Flick Pick of John Flickinger and the Flick Pick fame. We do a bi-weekly podcast, so every 2 weeks or so we do one. So you get probably about 2 or 3 depending on what's going on, probably more so now with everything going on in the craziness of our world. But you do get access to that. Also, if you are at that $10 tier, it means that you get to take part in the Q&A part of that podcast. And so about 24 to 48 hours before the podcast, maybe even longer beforehand, I'll leave a post in the Patreon Subscribe Star. You'll be able to leave a comment on a question that you want us to answer, on a topic that you want us to cover in a future podcast as well. All of that you have access to. And if you're a $25 backer and up, you get all of those things. Plus, you get a t-shirt for your first month. That's right. You get a free t-shirt, high quality Odin's Movie Vlog t-shirt. So just make sure if you're at a $25 and up backer level, you leave your address. That way I know where to send that to. And also I will be messaging you to get your size information. That way I can send that out to you as quickly as possible. But you also get access to an exclusive Chosen of Valhalla live stream that we have once a month on this channel. channel where I invite you to be on the show. You can either show your face or not show your face, or hey, you don't have to show up at all. It's totally up to you. And we talk about a wide variety of things. We talk about movies that you've been watching, modern things going on, the pop culture, and pretty much anything that you yourself want to talk about. So if any of these things sound interesting to you and things that you'd want to do, please hit that Patreon subscribe star link in the description of this video and think about joining today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless.